What is going on, everyone? This is Zach from Clutch Crew Sports, back with week 3 of the 2022 Lockboard season. We are going to share the results from last week, talk about the current Lockboard standings, and then we've got another 4-round draft of upsets for the Lockboard. College football and NFL football on the slate today, as it was the last 2 weeks. So let's go ahead, guys, and get started and look at Lockboard week number 2. Share our results from last week, and
also for everyone who just saw my shocked expression there, George Pickens just made an insane catch. So,
Connor's obviously got other interests going on right now for sure.
Highlighting it there, you can see.
We're not talking. He's got other interests, but definitely he wasn't interested in getting anything right in the Lockboard last week. A fat 0 for Connor. I can't really talk, though. I only ended up with 3 points. Eric had 3 points as well. That brings the total standings. I'm still in first with 8 points. Eric's in second now with 4 points. Connor is in third with 3 points. So obviously still early in the season. Everybody's close to each other. Nobody's jumped out or fallen behind or anything. But this week was particularly tough with the Lockboard. Myself, I will review my picks real quick. Picked Seattle over San Francisco as a 5-pointer. That was wrong. UTSA, they didn't pull off a big upset and beat Texas. That would have also been a 5-pointer. I did get the Jets over the Browns right for 3 points. Thank you, Cleveland Browns, for completely choking that game and just doing everything wrong possible in the last 2 minutes.
They really
hated that for the Lockboard, but great for the Steelers.
Yeah, they pretty much everything that you should have done, they did opposite in the last 2 minutes. Jets somehow won that game. I even said it was over. I thought I got 0 points on it, and the Jets came back and won. And the Commanders, they were just not good the whole game, and they lost to Detroit, so I didn't get 2 points for that. Eric, share with us what you got right and what you got wrong.
Yeah, I had 2 college games and 2 pro games. I thought I was getting a lot of value with my 2 college games. I had BYU over Oregon and Michigan State over Washington. Like both of those teams were ranked pretty high. I think they were like 11th and 12th, and Oregon was like barely ranked, and Washington wasn't ranked at all. So I thought I was going to get some good points there, but neither of those games were even close at all. I also had the Bears over the Packers. That was my kind of crazy attempt at a 5-pointer there, and
that was the one that Zach and I roasted you over.
Yeah, y'all roasted that one. But to be fair, the Bears, they did get off to a good start, but it went downhill pretty quickly, and they almost got in the game at the end. They had a shot at a touchdown, like 4th and goal on the 1 to make it 24-17, but they didn't get it. So that game didn't end up being close. But thankfully, the one I got right, my Jacksonville Jaguars did defeat the Colts. They blew them out. I wasn't even sweating over this game. The Jags got in control pretty early and never looked back. So I'm thankful that if I was only going to get one right, even though you would normally say you would want to get the 5-pointer right, when you pick your favorite team, you want it to be that one. So happy I got my Jags right, and hopefully I can build on this and do better this next upcoming week. So, but Connor, I know we discussed earlier that your week didn't go so well, but tell the viewers what happened.
Yeah, well, you mentioned wanting to get your favorite team pick right. I couldn't even get that, unfortunately. The Steelers, pretty abysmal offensive performance against the Patriots, a game we probably should have won, but, kind of threw away there at the end. My other NFL one was New Orleans over Tampa Bay. I thought, I did it for the Tom Brady curse, which, New Orleans was leading that game like 3-0 at halftime or 3-3 at halftime. So it was definitely still a possibility, but Jameis Winston turned into Jameis Winston and threw 3 interceptions. So even though it was another pretty average or mediocre offensive performance for Tampa Bay, their defense once again stepped up and won the game there for them. My 2 college picks were a little bit more ambitious. I had Miami over Texas A&M, and that was like the most boring game ever because neither team could get any offense going at all.
Connor and I watched the fourth quarter of that game, and it was pretty abysmal to watch.
Yeah, so, and then I had Texas Tech over NC State as my 5-pointer. I thought NC State was going to get a wake-up call, but unfortunately for me, Texas Tech they got beat pretty handily in that game. I thought they were going to be riding high after that win over Houston, but unfortunately that didn't happen for me. So I put up a 0, but I'm hoping to build on it this week, and Najee Harris just got a touchdown. So woo!
Connor's happy about that.
Yeah. So yep, the only benefit to getting 0 there is now you get the first pick. So first pick belongs to Connor. We'll put the board up with all the spreads for the viewers out there, and I'm sure you know what you're going to do with this pick, so let's not keep the suspense any longer. What's this first pick going to be?
So this first pick, I'm going to go ahead and go for a 3-pointer on this first pick. I think there's some pretty good value up here on the board when it comes to 3-pointers. The spreads were bigger than I thought, but I'm going to go ahead and take Washington State to beat Oregon at home. I know Oregon, they had that win over BYU last week. That was pretty impressive, but Oregon has really had some problems on the road against Pac-12 teams in recent years. So I think that's a good value for the 3-pointers. I think Washington State's a very underrated team too, so I think Oregon's vulnerable.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad my pick wasn't taken, my first pick that I wanted. 5-pointer, keeping the trend with the 5-pointers in the first round. We'll see if this can pay off for me, but I am going to take Oregon State to beat USC. To me, that was the one I liked the most. Oregon State's a tough team. They beat USC last year, I believe, and going to Oregon State, that, like I said, tough environment for USC to have to play in. I just think that's a game that's going to be very, very close, so I can see Oregon State winning that. Eric?
That was my second favorite 5-pointer, so.
Gotcha.
So a semi-ish snipe. Yeah, I was looking at that.
It depends on if whatever pick I want, that would have been my second pick for my next pick, so it depends on if Eric takes the one that I want. Then it will be a double snipe, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also going to look at the 5-pointers, but thankfully I was looking at the one Zach picked, but that wasn't the one I wanted the most. For the third week in a row, I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Come on.
Now, my trend last week was, the Colts never beat the Jags at home, and now the Jags are terrible going on the West Coast. So, I'm going opposite on that here, but Herbert's banged up, Keenan Allen's banged up. The Chargers have a lot of, banged up players they're dealing with. Jacksonville's, coming in high after a great win. And the Jaguars somehow have completely avoided the injury report so far. Literally all 53 players are healthy. I just think the Jags have a lot of momentum, and the Chargers are banged up. So I'm hoping the Jags can go in there and steal this one and make me proud, baby.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I was definitely not looking at that one, because even with that banged up team, the Chargers almost beat Kansas City at Arrowhead. So.
Well, that's true, but they lost.
I mean, Justin Herbert's the key. If he plays, then it's a game for sure. But we'll see.
All right, yeah. So, like I said, Zach took my second favorite 5-pointer, but I'm going to go ahead and take my favorite 5-pointer on the board here. I did see a lot of value in that Oregon State USC game as well, but I also see a lot of value in this Wake Forest over Clemson game. DJ Uiagalelei has really not looked very good in the first couple of games for Clemson. He kind of looks like the same, quarterback they had last year that really struggled. Wake Forest has a veteran team, very experienced team. They went to the ACC championship last game, and they've also struggled a little bit. But I think Wake Forest at home, they're going to want to make it back-to-back win. They lost to Clemson last year, so. They're going to want to get their revenge on Clemson and beat them this year, so that way they can take the Atlantic.
Yep. I kind of just want to hear Connor say that last name again, but
DJ Uiagalelei. I heard it enough when I was watching the NC State Clemson game last year, so I learned how to pronounce it.
Okay. That's one I don't think I'll ever know. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tua Tagovailoa, but that one, I don't know.
Well,
That's
talking
tough.
Tua
That's
it's because it's an ACC guy, right? You know how to
Yeah.
pronounce the
Yeah,
SEC
yeah.
guy, but not the ACC guy.
Yeah, SEC bias. I'm gonna go with a 2-pointer in the NFL. I'm gonna take the Carolina Panthers over the Saints. I just think the Saints offense is very pathetic. I know Carolina is nothing to write home about either, but divisional matchup. I think it could go either way, really. Carolina, to me, they're desperate for a win. They're a team that's really desperate for their first win of the year. I think the offense gets together. I think TMC has a big game for them, and I just don't trust the Saints offense to do much. So,
Jameis Winston also has like 4 broken bones in his back. Like,
yeah.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
yeah, I'm not sure why he's playing with that going on.
Yeah, that might not be a good strategy there. I might have been more confident in picking that if I had known that, but yeah. So I'm up here. Got a couple of 2-pointers I'm looking at. I guess I picked a pro game first, so I'm gonna do a college pick. I'm gonna take Baylor over Iowa State. I'm kind of shocked that Iowa State's favored. Like I don't know. They only put up 10 points on Iowa. I know Iowa's got a pretty good defense, but I don't know. I feel like Baylor's better than them. They're better, especially better on the offensive side of the ball. So I feel fairly confident that Baylor should be able to go in there and get that win for me.
All right, the Lockboard draft is halfway done. Started round 3 now. Connor, you got the first pick here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to also go to the 2-pointers here. I'm going to take an NFL 2-pointer. I haven't taken an NFL game yet, so I want to get some of these. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Denver Broncos to beat the San Francisco 49ers. They got Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback now, but the Broncos are going to be at home. Russell Wilson, he's had a pretty mediocre first couple of weeks. I know he's going to want to – I'm expecting a bounce back for him to get back to his, typical all-pro form. And I just think, these teams stack up really well, and when you got 2 really even teams, you got to go with the home team. So, also the Broncos have a good record at home in September. So,
oh yeah.
Oh, that's a throwback right there.
Okay, but Connor, the teams are even, but look at the coaches.
The coaches are bad. I will at least
Nathaniel Hackett is a hack. I mean, he's a terrible coach, dude. Like,
yeah, I saw all I needed to see after that week 1 game with him.
I can't believe Denver hired him. I'm like, there were so many people available, and you chose Nathaniel Hackett, and then
you could have had Byron Leftwich.
I've been proven right so far. So,
yeah,
could have had Byron Leftwich, but you went with Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
Good call, Cotton.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy. We'll see how it pays off.
Not paying off well right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty. So I've got the next 2-pointer here. I am gonna take. I said the next 2-pointer because we've taken so many 2-pointers in a row. I'm gonna take the Patriots though to beat the Ravens. I feel like Baltimore, their offense is so Lamar Jackson focused. That's what Bill Belichick always does. He stops what you do best. Make that Baltimore running game that's abysmal outside of Lamar Jackson beat them. The receivers aren't great. The defense is bad. Their secondary had one of the worst performances ever, I think, last week against Tua and the Dolphins, leaving guys wide open. That secondary is so bad, I think New England's actually going to have a good offensive day. So I'm taking the Pats in that one. Eric, you've got the next pick
I'm not
here.
sure I would really call their secondary bad. I think they had a bad day, but Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey are still.
I mean, they were. I think they were injured.
League.
I don't think they were playing in that though. I think it was all rookies playing. But
yeah, okay, good. There was a 2-pointer pro pick that I was interested in, and it's still here. I'm going to take the Falcons over the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks were very lucky to get that first win they got over Denver, like going back to Nathaniel Hackett again, like just being god awful. I feel like the Seahawks really stole that game, and then they were pretty abysmal against the 49ers last week. Whereas Atlanta, like, they at least have had some signs of life on offense. Their defense isn't very good, but I just don't. Geno Smith is just too inconsistent. Even though Marcus Mariota is not amazing, I trust him more than I trust Geno Smith. I know it's a long trip across the country, but I just don't trust Seattle at all. So I think Atlanta can get this one for me. Very quiet, no reaction on this one.
I mean, okay, I think Atlanta's going to win that game too. So,
all right. I got some approval on that one.
There you go. I'm not sure. I think Zach's picking Seattle in our weekly picks, but I picked Atlanta. So,
all right. So we're at the.
Yeah, it's in Seattle. That's why I'm picking Seattle.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see the logic there. It's like a toss-up.
You know.
I just like Atlanta better than Seattle. So, yeah. So we're at the top of the board for the last round here.
Well, not to beat a dead horse or anything, but I'm going to go with another NFL 2-pointer. We're just rolling off these 2-pointers. I'm going to go ahead and take the Houston Texans to beat the Chicago Bears. The Texans, they've been really scrappy, really close to a win in their first couple of games. They tied with Indianapolis, and then, they put up a really good performance against Denver last week. I think they're right on the cusp of getting that win, and, I think the Bears are really abysmal. I think they were really just kind of a product of the field conditions, why they were able to get a win in week 1. And, Justin Fields was also like calling out the fans for like that were heckling him this last week, so I think the fans are probably not too happy with him as well. So a lot of drama, and I think the Texans are primed to steal a road win here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm picking Chicago, but just because they're at home, but I could see that pick happening. So
yep.
I like the pick.
I've made back-to-back 2-point picks. I'm gonna go.
So you're gonna make a 5-point pick now, right?
I'm gonna make a 5-pointer.
It's almost like I know Zach.
Maryland over Michigan.
It's not one that I really love, but I'm gonna take Kansas State over Oklahoma. They've upset them before. Kansas State, they're gonna have to go on the road. That's what I don't like about it. But let's see if Oklahoma's real or not. Brett Venables, we'll see if he's really up to the challenge in his first conference game here as a head coach. We'll see. Kansas State, they've been here before. They've made some upsets.
That was the only other 5-pointer I was like slightly considering. So, yeah.
Kansas State's gotten me 5 points against Oklahoma before, so.
Yeah, I said they have a knack for upsetting Oklahoma. It's just that I just don't trust them on the road. They've done it in Manhattan a lot, but on the road it's not as it hasn't happened nearly as often. So we'll see.
All right. Oh yeah, I guess so. So I got the. Did something happen in the game?
Well, the Browns got a touchdown, but the kicker he banged the upright on the extra point and missed it. just like he did last week to lead to them losing to the Jets.
You never win games when your kicker misses an extra point. I've seen this. That's like that should just be a rule. And
just go ahead and call it now. The Steelers are going to win by 1. Okay, so I've got the final pick here. I saved this one for last just because I didn't think either of y'all were going to pick it. I'm going to go in the 3-point realm, and I'm going to take the Lions to beat the Vikings. The Vikings are kind of hard to figure out right now. I mean, they dominated Green Bay in week 1, but then Kirk Cousins looked pretty abysmal.
That's a prime time Kirk Cousins.
I know that's a Monday night prime time type of thing, but they're also, since they played on Monday, they have, one less day to rest, and Detroit's offense has been really good. If you look how Detroit did against Philly versus how Minnesota did against Philly, like Detroit was a lot better. Detroit does have to go on the road, which is a little bit of a disadvantage, but if their offense can play anything like they've been doing, and if the defense can just, contain Justin Jefferson somewhat like the Eagles managed to do, then I could see the Lions stealing that one. So that is going to be my final pick right there.
Eric, I just realized you didn't do this week, you know?
Oh, I didn't write my picks down. Yeah, it's dark. My lighting's not good.
No, it's fair. It didn't work out for you so great last week. So
yeah, I mean, I got one pick right last week, so
I was gonna say, did you notice that I changed hats this time? Like, I know the Steelers are playing, but I was like, I can't wear that Hurricanes hat again because like
yeah,
0 points. So
you got to figure out the exact right attire for these since we're on camera now. Like,
Yep. So let's recap our week 3 lockboard picks. We'll start with Connor since you had the first pick. Share us your 4 picks here.
Yeah, so I've got Washington State over Oregon for a 3-pointer, a college 3-pointer. Then I've got a 5-pointer in college with Wake Forest over Clemson. And then I have 2 NFL 2-pointers with Denver over San Francisco and Houston over Chicago.
All right, and then my 2 5-pointers that I have both in college: Oregon State to beat USC. That's a 5-pointer. Go Beavers, and also go Wildcats of Kansas State.
I was like, Connor, are you reaching for something back there?
Oh. To beat Oklahoma. That's 5 points I hope I get, especially in round 4. That's just like gravy to get points in round 4. And then Carolina Panthers to beat New Orleans in the NFC South. I like that matchup. And the Patriots to beat the Ravens. I like that one as well. So those are my 2-point safer options. Eric, what were your picks again? Remind everybody.
Yeah, so my first pick was for the 3rd week in a row. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars in an upset to beat the Chargers this time. I'll get 5 points if I get that. So go Jags, obviously. Look at the hat there. I've got a college pick, 2-pointer, Baylor over Iowa State. Don't believe in Iowa State. Then I've got 2 more pro games, a 2-pointer with the Falcons over the Seahawks. And then I've got the Lions over the Vikings for a 3-point play there. So, yeah, that's what I got. My picks are obviously the best, obviously. You can see there.
All right. Yeah, we will see next week if that claim holds true. We'll be back next week for week number 4 of the lockboard and recapping this week as well. And until then, guys, remember, be clutch.
Bye.
Connor, your cat looks like he wants to kill you. And peace.